episode of Post-Fades and Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks. I can't even talk today.
Long day, man. Long days.
It really was. I had fucking root canal this morning, so
did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So
how was that? I've heard of it. I just heard it's like a mysterious illness. It's like kind of like polio to me. Like illness? You hear about it. But I don't actually know anyone that's had root canal besides you now.
This is actually the fourth time I've had root canal.
4 times?
Yeah. Lucky me.
Do you brush your teeth? Your birthday's coming up soon, isn't it? Can I get you a toothbrush?
I do brush my teeth and floss and mouthwash.
I think
I've just been very unlucky.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you brush your teeth.
I do. It's a long story. It's my dentist said something about like my saliva like pH levels might be really low, and so it doesn't like help kill bacteria as well as like other normal people.
Interesting.
And I just have had very bad luck with teeth, so
you should be gargling pool water every morning is what you really need. A little increase in the pH.
Basically. But
wow,
yeah.
I never knew that about you. I learned something new. We've known each other for a long time. That's something new though.
Yeah.
I never knew.
That's root canal is one thing. It's expensive, but like it's one thing that I'm willing to pay a little more for, like someone who actually knows what they're like, someone who's like a trusted expert. Because I went to one when I was a kid, and I just remember it took like 3 hours, and it was like kind of like a suspect job. Like he didn't do a phenomenal work.
Obviously not. You've had 3 more since then.
Yeah. Well, the guy I went to today, and then the one last time, it was like today it was two of my front teeth, and numbed me up, cleaned it out, and I was good to go within like an hour. Like it was real quick. And he's like super good at it. So, but yeah, it's not.
I did wonder this.
I'm all drugged up.
I did wonder this. Yeah, when you walk to the dentist, I was wondering, like, does he come out immediately to go greet you at the door? Give you a cup of coffee. Like, you must be his favorite, patient. 4 root canals and a genetic root canal disorder. I think that's every dentist's wet dream. But I'll give you this. I'm impressed. You seem put together. Even though you've been drugged up on, whatever, Novocaine, laughing gas, whatever you got.
Just a lot of Advil and Tylenol to help with the the swelling and soreness and stuff. So,
well, you got to sell it for something more, because your takes on this podcast are usually ridiculous, but at least you have an excuse. You were like drugged up all day.
Yeah, my game picks were pretty bad this week, so we'll see how.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, you only had 2 better picks than I did, so let's relax.
Yeah, that's still quite a bit.
Anyways, let's get to the bread and butter. Our lovely Philadelphia Eagles put off a highest. They were part of the highest scoring game of the week. Beat the Lions 38-35. Lions, they kind of let the Lions crawl back. I mean, they blew them out at one point, and then the Lions put some offense together. But I think in the first half, like Jared Goff was like 4. He had like 4 passes completed out of like 12 or something. Like they were doing a lot better this time around. Whereas, last year the defense was letting like 100% completion percentages. But
that is true. No, I mean, the score itself highlights 2 major, eye-catching statistics. One, you gave up 35 points to the Detroit Lions, but the other, you managed to score 38 points. I'm with you. I kept on thinking throughout the game, was like, why can they not just put the Lions away? At no point did they just put them away. They just were hanging around. And then it became a field goal game, which at some point in that game is actually ridiculous to think. Because you're right, they were absolutely dominating for a couple of stretches there.
I will be honest, though, like I did not, when they started like coming back and scoring, there really wasn't a point in my mind where I thought the Eagles were actually going to lose this game. Like, I think I was confident enough when they were on offense that they were going to be able to like convert and get some yards and run the clock out. It's not like past years where you're like stressing. Like I actually felt like they were going to take control at the end, and they did. So, credits Jalen Hurts. I think he played more good than bad. He was a little up and down, but again, it's the first couple of weeks for every team are going to be rough. Like the Packers lost already, and Rodgers looked like shit. So like it's going to be, and same with Denver. Like it's going to take time, but I think Jalen is enough of a weapon with his feet that like basically makes up for it. I mean, he had 90 rushing yards and 243 passing yards. You combine that for a normal quarterback, that's over 350 or 330 yards passing, you could say.
Yeah.
So that's good numbers.
No, I mean, there was definitely a lot of good to take from it.
More good.
But the defensive
sure.
side, like I think the defense looked dominating a couple stretches there.
Mm-hmm.
There was like 3 series in a row, they just looked lights out. And then there was a couple series after that where it's like they just forgot how to tackle. I saw broken tackles from Epps, Gardner Johnson, just Bradbury. Everyone had their moment, and they were just not tackling. It was so infuriating to watch because you just want this team to put them out. I didn't see much in the pass rush department either, to be honest. That was a little disappointing. I don't think I heard Hassan Reddick's name called once. The only reason I know Derek Burnett was out there is because he tore his ACL.
Yeah,
but I mean,
that sucks.
Like, hats off to the Lions offensive line. They are clearly a strong unit. You know, they had their way, but definitely a matchup between 2 very strong offensive lines. That's another positive I'll take from our offense. I thought our offensive line was, handling the Lions defense. That's
the thing. Like when they were running, when they were passing, they weren't doing as well. But like anytime that Miles Sanders had a 7.4 yards per carry average.
Yeah.
Like, why did they not keep it? And that was only to I think he only had two or three carries in the first half. And then he finished with 13 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown.
Oh, I know. I mean, you had 4 guys run for a touchdown.
Your entire running back roster, all 3 of them scored touchdowns, and then Jalen. So it's pretty wild.
There were definitely some high points because I think on the offense, AJ Brown was great. AJ Brown was the number 1 wide receiver. You thought he was. I thought he was.
Beautiful.
The league thought he looked great.
What a guy.
The other side of that is, can we just confirm that Devante Smith was on that plane to Detroit?
Yes, because he dropped the pass. I remember that in the first quarter, and then
that's the only thing I saw him do. He didn't do anything after that. I barely even knew he was on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I did notice him and Goddard and even AJ Brown, there were stretches where Hurts decided to run the ball and they looked like they were open or breaking to be open. And I mean, that happens on every play with every quarterback. I'm not trying to nitpick him, but I don't know if it's just longer routes or whatever, but it looked like there was a healthy rotation too. Like I saw Pascal in a lot. I saw Quez Watkins in a lot. I want to see more Goddard involved earlier. He didn't get involved till later, it felt like at times, but overall, I think offense is going to be, as they continue to grow and play together better, especially now with AJ Brown opening things up. If Miles Sanders can get 70 yards a carry, and even Kenneth Gainwell was on 4 yards a carry, they're going to be pretty hard to defend.
Yeah.
I was reading a lot of articles. Yeah, I was reading a lot of articles the past couple of days, and a lot of different websites were saying that they think the Eagles are going to be pretty scary on offense once they start clicking on all cylinders. Because if you take away the pass, they'll run. If you take away the run, they'll either throw it or have Jalen Hurts break out and scramble. So good luck.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, even after week 1, I'm not going to crown us, division champs after week 1, but
I mean, it was the Lions, but they played like that was their Super Bowl. They were.
Listen, you said that the Lions were going to be respectable this year, and I got to give credit. They looked like respect to part of that Devante Smith slander about how he didn't do anything. I mean, hats off. I think Jeff Okudah played really well. I think he literally just took away Devante Smith. I mean, I didn't see him involved in a lot of passes against AJ Brown. I whenever I saw him on the field, he looked like he was on Devante Smith. You didn't really hear his name at all because Devante Smith was never targeted.
Yeah.
But I thought he played pretty well. But I think the team in general, the Lions, showed more fight than they're used to. That offensive line is a beast. They were pushing people around. Their run game looked fine. Swift had a hell of a game.
I mean, I will say, as a point, there definitely will be games. I think there'll be at least one game this year where both Devante and AJ Brown both have over 100 receiving yards each. But,
I agree with that.
To put it into perspective, the Vikings, Adam Thielen's still a very good starter, respectable receiver. He had 3 catches for 36 yards, whereas Justin Jefferson had 9 for 184. Someone else is going to get the ball, so obviously Devante is not going to be as involved. And then they were running it at the end, so I'm not surprised. I was surprised he finished with 0, but I'm not surprised he didn't have big numbers.
Well, here's the other thing. Like, I mean, besides the fact that they won, obviously they won, so everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm not even like slightly kind of worried about Devante Smith not doing anything,
I'm
because
not worried at all.
I saw AJ Brown just show what a true number one wide receiver is, because I haven't seen that in 15 years now, maybe more than that.
He was just
Almost
like
20 years.
He's big and
he's
fast
a
and just
number
gets
one wide
open.
receiver, man. Every time you need a play, he just went and got it. That slant with him is going to just be unstoppable. He's too big bodied. A couple times, man, he just that deep ball Jalen hit him like 50 yards.
That
pass. Was money. Great pass. But you know what? That's a number one wide receiver getting open and making that catch too.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful ball. Don't get me wrong, but he is going to be a problem. Devante Smith doesn't need targets when you have AJ Brown.
I love it. Yeah, that's what's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting to see, like, if a cornerback happens to shut down our receivers, or AJ Brown or Devante, whatever, like, do one of them go off or whatever? Does gotta go off?
We know we
can run the ball. Like, there's so many options.
Oh no, true number one wide receivers, like, you just can't really shut them down. You can slow them down, but you can't shut them down. Devante Smith is not a true number one wide receiver right now in his career. If we didn't get AJ Brown, then he would have been our number one wide receiver. He was our number one wide receiver last year.
Well, he got close to 1,000 yards last year too.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got potential. I'm not saying anything against Smith, but if he was your number one wide receiver and you saw him do what he did against the Lions, then that would be a huge problem. But the thing is, you've got AJ Brown, who just can't be stopped. Mm-hmm. He's so damn good. Yeah. And he just, you love the deal when it was made, because you're like, first round pick, reasonable contract, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then you saw him hit the field and you're like, damn, he is the best wide receiver I've seen on this team since Terrell.
Was it 10 catches, 155 yards?
Oh, those are stats I couldn't have dreamed.
He was over 100 before halftime.
That was so beautiful. So beautiful. I'll tell you this. My biggest concern from what I was watching is how poor the tackling was, especially in the secondary. My biggest high is watching AJ Brown, watching a true number one wide receiver, which I haven't seen in 15 years. Was my biggest high.
I will say, in the many, many years that I've watched the NFL, September is always historically been talked about as teams are just poor at tackling, because they either don't tackle in training camp or they just weren't doing it enough in preseason games or whatever. Like, that's like every team's going to struggle for a couple of weeks here before they get all acclimated back.
I agree with that.
So I'm not too worried. I saw enough of Kaiser White's stuff from when he was with the Chargers that I think he's going to be fine. I think Gardner Johnson.
I thought he looked fine.
Yeah, they'll all settle in. Marcus Epps, we'll see. I'm still a little iffy on him as a starter. I'm hearing a lot of good things, but he made some good plays, made some bad plays, so we'll see how that goes. And then, I mean, I didn't really see Bradbury or Slay got beat on one touchdown, but it was a really good pass from Jared Goff.
Bradbury had a touchdown.
And Bradbury had that pick six. So I think Bradbury and Slay, besides the one touchdown, both played really well, because I didn't see anyone catch against them really that often. So,
I mean, they did give up 35 points. I know the defense scored a touchdown and they had some moments, but this is not something to be proud of. 35 points to the Jared Goff led.
I want to see how they play against the Vikings, because that's a different offense. So
I agree. I mean, the Vikings, I think, are a legit team. I alluded to this in our season preview. I think they're a legit team.
I forgot that they got Darius Smith too. So that's damn.
Hey man, if Daniel Hunter can stay healthy, that's a nice little. That's the best.
Eric Kendricks, really underrated linebacker still.
They got I forgot. Some other linebacker. I'm blanking on his name. Oh, Jordan Hicks, I think, is on their team now.
Oh, is he?
I think I could double check on that, but I remember hearing his name this weekend.
Yeah, I know the Cardinals cut him for salary or something.
So one thing I think, and I got to be honest, he is one of the most decisive players so far in his Philadelphia Eagles career, because there's so much unknown, I would say, about him. People that will just die on the hill supporting him no matter what, and then people are just trying to bring him down before he gets an opportunity. But obviously, we need to talk about Jalen Hurts. I think he played pretty well.
Yeah.
Obviously, he made plays. He was impact. His running game looked great. I mean, behind that offensive line with the running attack, but we already knew that. I thought that AJ Brown was one of the best passes he's made in the NFL so far. It was a beautiful ball. I will say my one criticism, and I think he played well. He won you the game, and he was very important in the success that Offense had. My one criticism would be when he got blitzed, he did not seem to be able to handle that at all. I didn't see him hit the hot route once. Like when he's either not seeing it at the line or just sees the blitzers coming and immediately starts to think, I need to run. I didn't see him just get the ball out of his hands quick one time. They blitzed heavy. The Lions brought a lot of blitzes, but you know what? Every team that's going to watch this film is going to do the same exact thing. And hey, listen, I still think he's good. I think he had a very good game, but my one little critique was he did not look good against that blitz. He looked like he was just not picking up on it or just wasn't ready for it. It was rattled. Because every time I saw him get blitzed, he was looking to run and it just went nowhere. I didn't see any big plays off that blitz.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he'll continue to. I think he looks better already though than he did last year at times.
Oh yes, of course. So he played very well. It was a good game.
Yeah, I think he'll. We'll see how he has to develop. We'll have to see. He's only in his second season.
I'm not writing him off. He's just, This is why he's the most decisive person. Because even if you say one criticism, half the people will kill you. Then before you even say a word about him, people are just ripping him that he can't throw the ball. So he's very decisive in that fact. And I don't think it's like really him. I think it's like we just don't know. We have so much riding on him, but we've only seen him play so little. He was a second round pick that was a backup, got some snaps. And here we are. But I thought he played well. I just think that's one area we'll keep our nose on because teams are going to see that blitz and see that it worked and be running it out the next couple weeks.
Yeah. But overall, I thought it was an entertaining game. It was a good game. So, like I said, the Vikings game Monday night.
Yeah,
that's going to tell us. They'll tell us a lot.
You were right. No matter how bad they were in certain aspects, I never once thought they were going to lose that game. No. I waited for them to do it the entire game. Just put them away. You just needed one more touchdown at a certain point. Just put them away, and they never did. But no point did I ever really think we were going to lose that game. Yeah. And hats off to the team. But hey, we won. We're 1-0. We are tied for the division lead. The Cowboys are not, so fuck them.
Yeah.
And I think the week one has proved to me the NFC is more open than I expected.
I mean, the NFC East has 3 1-0 teams, so
it's true. And the only one that's 0-1 is the one with the quarterback with his broken hand or broken thumb or whatever.
But yes, so there were other games besides the Eagles. So I'll do a quick run through. We have the Thursday night opener was Bills just sloshed the Rams. I went and watched this at a bar, and it was like 10-3 at halftime or something. Like it was boring, low scoring. I left at half. I drove home and then I turned the TV on and it was 31-10 or whatever. I was like, what the fuck happened? Josh Allen just stiff arming grown men to the ground, and the Bills definitely look legit. I think the Rams just had that Super Bowl hangover. I think they'll be fine.
I'd be interested to see. We'll have to get the production team on this, but
oh god,
how many times that the defending Super Bowl champs win that week one game? Because I feel like this happens a lot. They usually go against someone that's really good or expected to be really good because it's the first game. It's that Thursday night. It's the kickoff. You got the defending champs versus whoever. But I remember, off the top of my head, I can remember the one year Peyton Manning, the first year with the Broncos, played the Ravens, who were defending champs, and he put up 6 or 7 touchdowns against them. And it was the beginning of that crazy year where he just broke every NFL passing stat. But I mean, the Ravens got torched that year. The Rams got torched this year. I don't remember who the Buccaneers played. And it was the Buccaneers. Oh, you know what? Yeah, they won that game. It was close, but they did win that game. I'm just curious if that happens more times than we think. Like the Super Bowl champ comes in, target on their back, and struggles in that first game, the first kickoff, where basically if you don't play the Cowboys, you're probably going to lose. But the Cowboys being as terrible as they are, they're actually the perfect team to play against. Everyone's going to watch them. It's going to be a national TV game. There's about
I think
how many.
I don't know what you were going to say. I was going to say,
how many Cowboys fans are there? You don't count the cockroaches, you'll have the same amount of Cowboys fans.
The cockroaches. I think more often than not, the losing team of the Super Bowl usually has a rough first couple games to start the season. But the winner usually takes care of business. Yeah. I remember that garbage.
First week though?
What was that garbage game? It wasn't even, wasn't it the NFL 100 year anniversary or whatever? And it wasn't even the Super Bowl teams. It was the Bears and the Packers or something.
Oh, well, yeah.
And it was a 10-3 season opener. And everyone was like, don't ever do that again.
I forget. Well, now that I'm looking at it, the Buccaneers obviously won last year, and the Chiefs won the year before. They played the Texans week 1. So maybe my logic doesn't have any point to it, but I just feel like off the top of my head that the Super Bowl champ usually loses that game. Oh yeah, the year before that for the Chiefs was the Bears versus Packers 10-3.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
It
makes me want to vomit. So. All right, so take me around the league. What do we got? What's the sites?
Then we had like we spoke about, Eagles won 38-35 over the Lions. Here come a couple of the surprises. So we had the Steelers. Funny enough, so the Steelers and the Colts both went into overtime again. So Steelers and Bengals tied 20-20, went into overtime. Colts and the Texans were tied 20-20, went into overtime. Yeah. Like 20 is not a normal score, first of all. So for 4 teams to score 20 points is just bizarre. The Steelers ended up winning after both teams just kept missing field goals.
That overtime was absurd. Was honestly that game was my favorite game by far this week 1. And I got to say, it was everything you hope for in football. There was emotions, there was unpredictable, there was pain. And it was ludicrous. Like what I was watching.
Jamar Chase doing one-handed catches and then giving middle fingers to Minka Fitzpatrick was great.
Yeah, how well that aged.
So they won. And then, boy, it's funny because I got asked if I wanted to be in a knockout pool earlier in the day on Sunday. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? $50, I was like, oh, what teams? Texans, they're looking a little rough. They got some growing to do. I'll take the Colts. They fucking tie. I'm like,
did you
1?
Win? Do you get to pass on or do you lose?
It's a loss. I'm already out. And the buy-in's like 100. And I'm like,
tie goes to the runner. Tie goes to the runner.
Yeah, well, apparently not. But
well, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So the Colts somehow couldn't beat the Texans and they tied in overtime.
To be fair, they changed quarterbacks, but they're still inept and lose critical moments against AFC South bottom feeders.
I will say the Texans might have a quarterback in Davis Mills.
Will you? No, shush.
I like him. I think he's solid.
Oh my God! Okay,
get him some good coaching and some more weapons.
Let me just go get a whole new coaching staff and the team. You're asking for a lot.
I mean, they haven't.
If you got me enough,
Lovie Smith is a coach now.
If you got me, Bill Belichick and enough wide receivers to make me look good, and an offensive line that prevents, more than the Great Wall of China, I would be pretty good.
Okay. Anyways, speaking of Bill Belichick, he went to Miami and lost once again. The Dolphins won.
You know what? I'm so mad I took the Patriots on our picks. And I'll tell you exactly my reasoning, because I wanted to take Miami because the New England always loses in Miami. That's why Big Old Bill took them 4 days before the game. Well, because here was my logic.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Belichick has had an entire offseason to plan for this game.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly that didn't make any difference because I wanted to take the Dolphins and I talked myself out of it because I was like, Bill Belichick has had 6 months to think about this game. And it looked like he didn't have 6 hours to plan for that game. They just looked terrible.
Yeah. But
oh well. Yeah. Dolphins though. That's a team to keep an eye on.
Yeah, we'll see. Browns beat the Baker Mayfield Panthers 26-24.
That was tough. Yeah,
that was a weird game. Panthers came back to the end and almost won, but McCaffrey only had like 13 touches. I don't know what they're. I know they were trying to keep him healthy, but
yeah. Robbie Anderson had a big game.
He did. Yeah, he's from Temple, right? For sure.
Yeah, very important because he commented the slander against Baker Mayfield when the rumors came out that they were trading for him.
Nice.
And he was like, "No." And then here we are. How quickly life comes. All right. So what do you got for me next?
So we got Bears beat the 49ers 19-10.
Bears. That was a wet and wild game. That was.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the wild, but it was definitely wet.
Painful to watch at some points.
Yeah. Who else won? We got Saints. Poor Falcon fans, man. Falcons blew another lead. I just can't believe it. They were handling the Saints, and then next thing I know, scoreboard said 27-26 Saints. I was like, I'm not even surprised.
It's so painful to watch. Is this just like the second coach since Dan Quinn? Like the curse just can't leave them.
Yeah, no, they're forever doomed. Ravens took care of business, beat the Jets and Joe Flacco 24-9. Lamar looked good. Carson Wentz had like 4 tutties, 2 interceptions, but Commanders beat the Jaguars 28-22. He actually looked pretty solid. So we'll see how that.
He did, yeah. I'll give him that. Yeah, he did look pretty good. They looked like better than they normally do. The Commanders.
Yeah. They got some good skill players on offense. Dotson and McLaurin and
Dotson had very big game.
Curtis Samuel too, appearance. And some good running backs. So they if they get it together, they might be a threat to the Eagles. We'll see.
Well, we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Vikings took care of the wide receiver-less Packers, 23-27. Giants beat the Titans 21-20 on the return of Saquon Barkley.
I can't believe they won that game either. Just, you know what? It's the kicking nonsense came in right away. Just right away. I'll give you a little hint. Everyone's, America's favorite segment. We all know that I love to torment kickers when they fail and just destroy any chance of winning for their team. But I've had a lot of options to choose from. It was tough. There's a lot of options to choose from. The kickers were just horrific this week.
Yeah. There was a lot of weird, a lot of teams scored 20, 19, 22, just 26. These aren't where do they get these scores from? Anyways. Chargers beat the Raiders 24-19. Raiders had a bit of a late surge, which I was hoping for because I picked them to win. But it wasn't quite enough.
You did not do well, did you?
I mean, Devante Adams had a good game, so that's what I was hoping for. But
fair enough.
Yeah. So Chiefs manhandled the Cardinals 44-21. Cardinals defense looks bad, so we'll see if that's a factor. But yeah, Chiefs.
Well, hey, I mean, listen, you give your quarterback that big money, you got to sacrifice in other areas. And JJ Watt's hurt. They're in trouble.
Yeah. Buccaneers took care of the Cowboys 19-3. That game was so boring.
It was terrible.
Brady looked fine. Mike Evans had some nice catches. He had that one-hander touchdown. It was pretty good.
Julio Jones showed up.
Yeah, Julio Jones was alive, so that's cool.
Listen, whenever in doubt about your career, just go play with Tom Brady and see what happens. That's true.
And so Dak Prescott, he broke a finger or tore a ligament in a finger or something.
Something along those lines.
But they said he had surgery yesterday or today, and he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So that's pretty significant. I don't know if Cooper Rush can win you 6 games. So
no, I mean the offense looked terrible before he got hurt.
Yeah,
Michael Parsons was awesome, but outside that, I mean Lawrence showed out. Parsons, but I mean, the team is really suspect at the moment. Yeah. There's not much going on there.
Yeah, and this might have been my biggest surprise of the week. Seahawks beat the Broncos 17-16.
Yeah.
Russ did not look great.
He was rattled.
They also drove down the field twice to the end zone and fumbled twice. So that's not ideal.
It's true.
Geno Smith was 17 of 18 in the first half passing. That's fucking nuts.
Do you think Russ, obviously the offense had 2 fumbles on the 1-yard line, which you just can't do. But Russ did not look good. Do you think that Russ was expecting to get cheered and have his homecoming moment, and then most of the fans booed him and he was just rattled? He just couldn't get past it. Because I think he's such a good guy that he was just coming into this game. I mean, I kind of thought he'd get cheered, but maybe I'm not living in Seattle. I'm very far away.
Very surprised to see that he got booed. And then I heard apparently just his relationship with Seattle just really soured last year. So I don't know.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, listen, I was surprised he got booed. I mean, he's the most. I mean, I couldn't tell you what the Seahawks were before he got there. Sean Alexander. I think about that. That's about it. But
my guy.
But I just feel like he was a good guy. He won. It was the best time they've ever had with him at quarterback. They moved on. Matthew Stafford got a hero's welcome to come back and kick their ass.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson just, I don't know. I think he was just rattled because he expected some love and got hate instead. And he doesn't seem like the guy who's going to go in and be like, I'm going to break everyone's heart. Brady, I think, just stays up night, just jerking off to broken fans' souls. He just watches Super Bowl videos of other opposing teams' fans crying and just has at it. He's just my wife might be a supermodel, but this is what gets me going. Let me see the tears.
I don't think I want to vision picture that. So you keep that to yourself.
But getting to my point, Russell Wilson's too good of a guy that I think when he got booed, it just was too much for him. He wasn't ready for it. He fell on his face in his homecoming. Hey, listen, some people go back home on the homecoming tour and they're stone cold killers. Russ is not that guy.
We'll see. I think I give him a month. I think he needs a month. He's with a brand new team. If he still strives, the Broncos miss the playoffs, then yes, that's going to be a concern. And then I know a lot of people were talking smack on Russell these past 2 days. That he's like maybe he's overrated or something. Like, relax.
I think he just wasn't ready to get booed.
Yeah, I think there's a lot.
He's the ultimate good guy. I like Russell Wilson. Don't get me wrong. He's the ultimate good guy. He was a very beloved figure in Seattle, and he got booed unexpectedly, and I think that threw off his mental psyche. It's a lot to think. It's like when you're in WWE, and like, you know, the quintessential good guy is bad. Like, everyone is just shocked. Like, it's just jaw dropping. Yeah. And I think it was just too much for Russell Wilson to bring in. He wasn't ready for the character change.
Yeah, well, we'll see. That wraps up the week 1 games. So we got we'll close out the episode later with our week 2 picks, obviously, and then the power rankings. But of course, we got to do each of our own segments. We have Studs and Duds provided by Sir Timothy Mullen, and
America's favorite.
And
segment.
then we'll do Too Much Whiz by myself, Dakota, with his Gazelle's guidance. You know, so
love that. Trademark it.
All right. So without further ado, Sir Timothy, let's break open the first annual 2022 Studs and Duds list.
Well, back at popular demand, everyone's favorite. What are we thinking? What mood are you in? You happy? You're down?
Do the duds first. So we can end on a happy note.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good way of looking at things. All right. So my first dud here. Mm-hmm. I will just say that this team came in with I wouldn't say a lot of expectations, but compared to what we normally think of them every year, they had some expectations this year. I don't think anyone was picking them to win the division, but there was some hope, and people thought that they might be a decent team.
Yeah.
But man, they just walked out, and they were as big of a disappointment as we see every single season. They just were consistently as terrible as we expected. This time they really pushed to the button. There was drop passes, fumbles, just idiotic plays, penalties, complete disaster. Their starting quarterback was out, and he was hurt, but the backup quarterback, veteran, been around the block before, even called out his own team, saying they just lacked all energy. They had no energy whenever they tried to get something going, they just lacked all energy. And in week 1, it's kind of disappointing to see. So to wrap up the whole entire piss-ass performance I saw for the New York Jets this weekend, I'm putting Robert Saleh as my third dud.
Ah, okay. I like that.
Did you see the comments? Joe Flacco was like, this team had no energy. It was just very disappointing being out there, blah, blah, blah. They were horrific. Every aspect of that team was horrific in that game against the Ravens. I think they had the worst loss. I mean, there were some teams that lost by more, but the Jets just showed no desire to win or capability of winning. Mm-hmm. Moving on. So this guy, I already kind of alluded to it a little bit. There was a lot of kicker mishaps, lots of them. It was just endless. This guy actually went so far to now he lost his job. He was released today by the Indianapolis Colts after missing a brutal kick right at the end of the game. They ended up in a tie, which I don't think anyone can be proud of. I think it would have been better if they just lost, but Rodrigo Blankenship went out there, had every opportunity in front of him. Wasn't that hard. Didn't ask too much for him. It was an easy shot and just missed it. Mm-hmm. And ended up losing his job. So, what do we say? People that lose their job are immediately on the dud list. You're week 1, you got through training camp, and now you lost your job. That is going to be the biggest kick in the nuts.
Not good.
I mean, you go through a training camp and then just get cut week 1. That's one game check. That's pretty rough. On to the last one. A guy who actually had an amazing season last year. He was incredible. So good. I mean, I think we were all waiting for the next step in elite tier for this guy. Mm-hmm. Was Mr. Joe Cool, Joe Burr, Mr. Super Bowl, Mr. AFC. But man, he walked out in a divisional matchup. I know it's week 1, but divisional matchup, every opportunity to win that game, and he was just rough.
Yeah,
He had 4 picks.
Joe Burrow wasn't icy. He was just straight cold and
4
ineffective.
interceptions.
Yeah.
Oh, 4 interceptions. He had a 6.4 yard average
And they still
on his
almost won.
passes. Well, that's just that's something to itself. I mean, the guy, listen, what about another part of this is what about this new offensive line that everyone's been tooting and tolerant for? Joe Burrow took the booty ass offensive line he had last year to the Super Bowl. This one ended up giving him 7 sacks in the first game of the season, and he went and had through 4 picks.
Well, Steelers got a good defense.
I mean, you did allude to it a little bit, how the Super Bowl loser usually has a really, really tough year in the next year. But I mean, I thought we could at least get a couple wins out of Joe Burrow before he fell apart. 4 interceptions is not good. 6.4 yard average, not good. 33 of 53, not good.
No.
Really rough performance by Joe Burrow in a game they absolutely should have won because they nearly won after getting sacked 7 times and having 4 interceptions. But we move on. So talk about a start to the year. We got the reigning AFC champs, the Super Bowl runner-ups, appearing in the dud list the first week.
It's going to be that. Week 1 was already insane, so this season is going to be great. It's going to be like a movie.
I'm excited. Yeah. So let's roll in the studs. So obviously, I'm brutal towards the kicking position. Rodrigo Blankenship, RIP, has already appeared on our dud list and is in unemployment. I'm actually going to, in a week that was just horrific for kickers.
Yes.
Blankenship obviously missed a brutal kick. McPherson, everyone's favorite kicker from last year, missed a tough one. Randy Bullock to win the game against the New York Giants. And the game was over. It was already done. The announcers were already applauding the efforts the Giants made in making it competitive. He missed the kick. And then Chris Boswell, who eventually made up for it, but he also missed the kick to win the game. Now, here's one guy who did show up. He brought the wheelbarrow, put his nuts in it, and wheeled it to the stadium, and went and drilled a 60-yard field goal to win the game. As a rookie, his first NFL game ever. The only kicker drafted in this past year's draft.
Drafted like the 4th round, wasn't he?
I mean, listen, after you just saw that whole list of kickers I just mentioned to you, who got who missed a game-winning kick, and Blankenship, who doesn't have a job, this guy showed up and proved that he was worth a draft pick. Went out there, 60-yard field goal to win the game and give the Cleveland Browns a W in week 1. Give it up for my boy Cade York. Guys, 21 years old and went and just drilled a 60-yard kick. Like, dude, just welcome to the NFL, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no one cares about kickers, and I'm not saying I'm their biggest fan either, but that's like a quarterback throwing for like 6 touchdowns.
There were some
400 yards.
I'm pretty sure there was some like curve on that field goal too. I think it went out and then came back in.
It was a nice kick. Now listen, after we saw 4 different kicks that were missed to win the game, all hats off to him. Very impressive. Moving on to my second stud. This guy, Cade York, you never heard of, because I do the deep dive and do my homework and find guys you never heard of.
Yeah.
This guy you've heard of. This guy is just awesome. And this guy, I think, just reminded everyone that all the hoopla and the excitement for me this year is well worth it. You saw Tyreek Hill go get 20 million and Devante Adams get another 19 million or whatever. Open up the bank. Because I went for 9 receptions, 184 yards, and 2 touchdowns to start the season. I had 158 yards and 2 touchdowns at halftime. It just tells you that, but no. I didn't take the foot off the gas pedal. My team didn't want to score anymore. I was open. I was open the whole time. My team decided we were going to run the ball, run out the clock. So, I think I'm coming for heads, and I'm going to be the number 1 wide receiver this year. We got Justin Jefferson at number 2.
He was on his demon time. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. He was nasty.
Yeah.
Moving on to a guy who was single-handedly the most important player to his team's winning ability this past week. And it's not even close. If you run through his not even just like the whole game, he was dominant, but there was multiple moments where he just made an impact and saved that game. You had the overtime drive where the Bengals were throwing to Jamar Chase, of all people, who had it in his hands and was split. Or actually, I don't think it was Jamar Chase. It was a different wide receiver. But he had it in his hands and was disconnected from the football in the end zone. And then, not even that, the guy went ahead and scored his own touchdown in the beginning of the game. It was a low-scoring affair, this game. I think they ended up like 20-17 or something close to that. If it wasn't a lot of points to be had. and he 23-20, and he went and scored his own touchdown. And then let's not forget about the most important play, single-handedly, to keep the game going in overtime. Easy chips up field goal in a week where we saw some horrific kicking. He's like, I can't rely on this kicker to be as terrible as all the other kickers this week, and went and blocked the kick himself. So I'm going with my boy, superstar safety, who also makes huge plays in special teams and scores nearly the same amount of touchdowns as the offense. Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's my number one stud.
Okay, I like it with the defense. That's nice.
Dude, you look at him. He scored as many touchdowns as his offense did. He blocked the game-winning field goal, and he separated the ball from the wide receiver in the end zone in overtime. That is an scoring play, special teams, and defense. Single-handedly, there's not one guy that mattered the most this week than Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Just top 10 safety right there.
Oh my God, I've never seen like just individual plays, like just scoop it up, score himself, block the field goal, make the hit. There were some other good performances. Don't get me wrong. Josh Allen was incredible, but he had to throw to some people. He had to involve others. Khalil Mack was pretty nice. He had 3 sacks and welcome back to
welcome back.
Kind of moment. Saquon Barkley was very good, as you alluded to.
Yes,
but just finding a player that individually was as good as Minkah Fitzpatrick, you just can't.
See, we go beyond the stats, people. We dig deep, You
got a safety and a rookie kicker. So tell me about your too much whiz. You got enough research that I do?
Nah, I think you got me beat there. Mine are not nearly as exciting, but yes, let's do another year of the too much whiz. I think I only started it like halfway through last year, but I was tired of listening to you talk all the time, so I had to get my own segment.
Yeah. So, whatever you want to say.
So as usual, I will. I have 3 points to ask Tim, and he will respond with is it too much whiz, as in overlooking, overhype, it's not going to happen, or not enough whiz, as in it's looking good, it's going to happen, stuff like that. So, with that being said, we got first off going back to our birds. So, Mr. AJ Brown had 155 receiving yards against the Lions.
Okay.
The last time an Eagles receiver had over 1,000 yards in a season was 2014.
Wow.
Do you know who that was?
I'm going to say Jeremy Maclin.
You would be correct. 2014, Jeremy Maclin finished with 1,318 yards. I don't remember him having that many, but hats off to Jeremy Maclin. And he finished 9th in the NFL in receiving yards. Wow. So my question to you, will AJ Brown surpass that Jeremy Maclin stat of 1,300 yards this season?
I'm going to say yes, confidently. Confidently.
So not too much whiz.
He proved to me multiple times that he is a number 1 wide receiver. And you know how I knew the answer to that Jeremy Maclin question was because the Eagles have had only like 3.5 wide receivers that are actually capable of getting to 1,000 yards. It's been a very barren position. So now that we have a true player, I'm excited. I think he's got all the potential.
It's a shame. The Sean Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, Jason Avant trio was pretty good if they all could have stayed healthy and not gotten booted off the team for a couple more years. But
before Chip Kelly came around.
Yeah, but Jeremy Maclin was good. I was a big fan of coming out of the zoo and stuff.
Too.
So, but
me too.
All right. So that was the first one. Second one, the Vikings beat the Packers, obviously. Correct. And there was a very, very bad play of Aaron Rodgers throwing a bomb. Perfect. On the money bomb.
Yeah.
You can check it on our Instagram. I actually put the video up because it was hilarious. Because everyone kept telling me, "Oh, the Packers receivers are underrated. They're gonna be sneaky good this year."
No.
And the guy just had it in his hands and just straight up dropped the pass.
Yeah, I
think it was a rookie receiver.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, and Rodgers didn't look pissed. Too much whiz. The Packers are in trouble at wide receiver and will need to make a big trade for a wide receiver to be able to compete in their division.
Oh, well, I mean, I thought you were going to say too much whiz. Aaron Rodgers right hooks one of his wide receivers by week 4, which I probably would have, I would have definitely said, not too much there, but I think it's pretty obvious that their wide receivers stink. We all knew that. So I'm saying no, not too much whiz. This team I really think is going to struggle unless they make another move. I don't know what move that's going to be. I don't know what wide receivers are going to suddenly become available, but they stink. Their offense stinks. I don't care who Aaron Rodgers is. None of those wide receivers scare me. Yeah. They need a little bit something more.
Yeah, you got a washed up Randall Cobb and then a bunch of question marks and
Sammy Watkins. I forgot he was in the NFL, but he was out there. Yeah, we'll see what happens when Alan Lazard comes back. That's what we're going to tie our whole wagon to.
All right, and then my last point, we had Kansas City, like we said before, throttled Arizona. The Chiefs scored 44 points and had 488 yards of offense.
They did.
Too much whiz. The Chiefs will be just as good as they normally are on offense and won't skip a beat without Tyreek Hill for the rest of the season.
Oh, no, I definitely think that they'll be fine. I think they will be plenty fine. Not too much whiz. Oh, wow. I said this when the Tyreek Hill trade happened. You can't, the point of having a $45 million a year quarterback is that you don't need a $30 million a year wide receiver for a successful offense, let alone a tight end that is good as Travis Kelce. True. With Patrick Mahomes, the money you're giving him, you give him, the player he should be plenty fine working with whatever you give him. And they will be able to score points. Andy Reid's still there. Travis Kelce, who's still a number one option, is there. They'll be fine. I'm not worried.
All right. So that was all three were not too much whiz. So that's it's good to see.
It's week one.
Week one, yeah. We're early.
Keep my options open.
All right. That being said, we will roll right into our power rankings. So a little bit of movement here. Let me just make sure I have last week's so I can kind of compare the two. So last week, our top four remain unchanged. So we have the Bills at 1, Chiefs at 2. Oh, no, I lied. I already lied. The number 1 remains the same. Bills came in at number 1. We have the Chiefs moving up from 6 all the way to 2 this week. Then we have the Bucks and the Chargers staying respectively at 3 and 4.
Yeah.
The Rams dropped from 2 to 5. Still the Rams, so I think they'll be fine, but they did lose.
That. They
didn't look good.
Horrible, but they're still talented.
Yes. So we have the Ravens jump into the power rankings after a strong performance at number 6. We have go ahead.
I think this 3 teams all next year. I told you this already. They're teams that are 1. They're 1-0. Teams that everyone thought would be good, but are surprised how good they look week 1. Is the way I break down this next 3 teams category.
Okay. Then number 7, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. I did not expect us to be putting them at 7 already, but
I said, 1-win teams that we thought would be good, but surprised how good they look in week 1.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how they play against the Vikings, they might drop either out of the power rankings or maybe move up. Who knows? So,
hey, we got 7 versus 8, right?
Yeah, and number 8, the Vikings also jumping into the power rankings for the first time. They looked pretty good. They're kind of like the Eagles too, where that offense has so many weapons. I do think the Vikings have a stronger defense, at least in the middle. They have really good linebackers, good D line. We'll see. I think Eagles have better corners, which love saying that. And then number 9, we have the Bengals dropped from 5 all the way to 9 after the Joe Burrow went frozen. And
number 1 done. That's gonna be a trivia question next year. We do the wrap up at the end of the year. Who was week 1's number 1 dud?
Number 1 in your mind. And then at number 10, we have the New Orleans Saints jumping up into the rankings. So Denver is out, Green Bay is out,
deserved,
and San Francisco is out. And in came the Ravens, Vikings, and Saints.
San Francisco, I'll give a pass. I mean,
they're 11 or 12 probably.
I mean, the game was downpouring. I don't think anyone was going to do too good in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? We'll see what happens. So, all right, let's finish it up.
Yep.
Roll right into game picks and then call it an episode.
All righty. So, starting with the Thursday night game, it's a good one. Chargers versus the Chiefs. I'll let you go first. You go first, and then I'll go first and flop.
I think they both look really good, but one looks better than the others. I think one is more established. I think the other one's still finding their way, especially on defense. I mean, you got new players like Mack and Jackson, but I think the Chiefs win this Thursday. I think they've circled this one and they're ready to remind everyone that the Chiefs.
Really?
I do.
I agree. I think
keeping me on that much seat for nothing.
I was just trying to confuse you. I think the Chargers. I would not be surprised if the Chargers have a lead at half, and we're looking good, and then the Chiefs are like, all right, we're gonna win this game now. So
I think it'll be close. I definitely think it's gonna be high scoring, but I think Mahomes and the Chiefs pull this one out.
Yeah. Then we have the Patriots and the Steelers.
Ooh, this one's a tough one.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
You know what?
First now.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I got eager.
I mean, the Patriots, I think they started out 0-2 last year as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Steelers played well against a good team in the Bengals, even though, Joe Burrow played rough. You know what? I have more question marks on the Patriots than I do the Steelers, even though Mitch Trubisky's playing, but I'll ride with the Steelers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Steelers as well. I think their defense. Well, now TJ Watt's out, so that's a big concern.
That is,
but I think their defense is good enough to win this game for them. I think the Patriots are still going through some stuff.
Okay.
This defense coordinator and special team coach calling plays doesn't seem to be a great idea.
Yeah, it's a little weird. All right, next game, another doozy. Panthers at the Giants.
Oh, I'm taking the Panthers here. The Giants got one ridiculous win that they shouldn't have gotten. Randy Bullock just completely choked. I think the Panthers, like I said, they're still my team, my surprise team, so I think they win this one.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I don't think the Giants are going to do that. I mean, if they win a gutsy game again, then, there's cause for,
I'll listen to it.
But, yeah.
They should have lost that game. The announcers literally, as Randy Bullock's lining up for the kicks, oh, we're so happy with how the Giants have fought. Really proud of this team. I mean, they're not the rollover Giants that we're used to. And then you're like, oh, damn, they won the game. Wow, look at that.
Yeah. Next game, we have a lot of doozies. Jets at the Browns. I think the Browns showed that they can do enough to win with the roster besides bad quarterback play or mediocre quarterback play. And the Jets looked really bad. And I don't think they'll play better until Zach Wilson's back in. And I'm not saying Zach Wilson's amazing because I think he has a lot of growing to do, but I'll take the Browns here.
Yeah, I mean, I ripped the Jets earlier, and I think the Browns are a good roster just with a bad quarterback, so I'm taking the Browns.
The next game, we have the Colts at the Jaguars.
This has to be the Colts. I feel like you lost that. You lost. I mean, that's the way. It's a tie against the Texans. You lost. There's no way you can lose to two AFC South bottom feeders and without the city revolting. So I'm taking the Colts.
All right. Yeah, I'm also taking the Colts because literally the same reason. Unless they tie, they go 0-2 to start the year. That'd be different.
I worry about the safety of the city of Indianapolis if that happens.
Yeah. Wow. Next game is the Dolphins at the Ravens. This should be a good one. In Maryland, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think they'll take care of business.
Okay, well, you took the Ravens, so I'm gonna go the other way. Okay. I thought the Dolphins looked pretty explosive with Hill and Waddle, so let me see it again. I'm gonna take the Dolphins. I think maybe they get in a shootout with Lamar and a team that wants to run the ball, and they're able to score quickly, and the Ravens cannot. So I'll take the Dolphins.
All right. Next game we have is the Buccaneers versus the Saints.
Oof, this one's tough.
This could be one of those upset games.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right about that. I do get the upset vibe. I'm gonna roll my my dice here and say the Saints win this one.
All right, I was going to do whichever one you didn't do, so I'll take the Bucks.
I think that the Saints steal this one. I didn't want to take the Dolphins in week 1 when I thought, this is the one they're going to take, but I'm going to talk myself into this one.
Yeah. Next game, we have the Commanders at the Lions. Do the Lions... They put up a good fight.
I can tell you right now. I think they put up a good fight, but I'm taking the Commanders. I think this is the Carson Wentz media takeover after he wins another game.
Well, just to be different, I'll take the Lions then, since I was pondering it. So
there you go. You didn't see committal.
No. Next game is the first 4:00 game. We have Seattle at San Francisco.
Oh, I think this is going to be San Fran. They're at home. They're getting a horrible team that somehow managed to win on Monday Night Football, and they're coming off a rough loss. Give me the Niners.
I don't know. Their defense played pretty decent, honestly. I mean, they gave up a lot of yards, I still think.
I mean, Russell Wilson was shook. He was a good guy that wasn't prepared to be bad.
Yeah, what was Geno Smith had a really good quote after the game, though. What was it he said? He said, "People kept writing me off. I just never wrote back," or something like that. I was like, oh.
Damn, well, hey, let Geno Smith have his moment. But
yeah, and then he's going to go back to being mediocre right after this.
This is the Niners.
Yeah, the real defense. The Broncos were supposed to be a good defense, so we'll see. But
yeah.
Next game is the Falcons at the Rams. I think the Rams get back on track here. If they start 0-2, there's going to be some questions. So I'll take.
No, they're not going to be 0-2 against the Rams. I'm taking the Rams, or 0-2 against the Falcons. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Next game is the Cardinals at the Raiders. Which team's going to start 0-2?
Two teams that come off tough losses to the AFC West powerhouses. I'm going to take the Raiders. I was a little more impressed with them. I was a little more impressed with them than I was the Cardinals in week 1. Come on, stick to your convictions. Go against me.
No, I wanted to take the Raiders, but you picked. Yeah. I mean, a washed up Patrick Peterson's not going to be able to hang with Devante Adams.
You're probably right about that.
I know he's on. No, Patrick Peterson's on the Vikings. I don't even know who the Cardinals cornerbacks are. That's even worse. Yeah, this is tough. I want to pick. I'm going to go with the Raiders because
there you go.
I think they're the better team on offense. Well,
this is the only.
They still have Devante. What's his name? DeAndre Hopkins still isn't back for the Cardinals. So
right about that.
We'll see.
This is the only way you're not going to be 7-9 week 2 is if you follow my lead. So go ahead.
All right.
All right. What do I got next here?
Well, you picked first, so now it's my turn. But yeah, Texans and the Broncos. I think it's another weirdly close game for Denver, but I think Broncos win.
I think that the Niners, Rams playing at home are going to have get-right games. I think the Broncos, who are also playing at home, are going to have get-right games. I think all three of those teams were high expectation of the year, fell on their face in week 1, and are playing bad teams at home this week. Get-right game for Denver Broncos.
All righty. Next game we have is the Bengals at the Dak Prescott-less Cowboys.
No, the Cowboys stink with Dak. They're definitely not going to win without him.
All right. Yeah, I'm taking the Bengals. Then we have the Bears at the Packers.
You know what? I'm going to be fun. I'm going to take the Bears because Aaron Rodgers and that wide receiver course stink.
Well, this was
Bears
my turn
2-0
first, but
I know, ahead. But I was going left field, so I figured I'd go first.
Okay. Well, I'll take the Packers then. I feel like they always start out slow, but Bears aren't that good. I think they just got lucky. So
fair enough.
Next game,
I'm Mr. Optimism. So
apparently we have 2 Monday night games, unless I'm reading this incorrectly.
No, you are right. I don't understand. I thought that was a week 1 kind of thing they did.
That's what I thought. Oh well. 7:15 on Monday. We have the Titans at the Bills. What are you thinking there, Timothy?
I'm disappointed that there's 2 Monday Night Football games the Eagles are playing in one of them, and me being 5 hours ahead makes me even more mad that the Eagles. Yeah, but the Eagles are. I'd have to stay up late. The Eagles are the late game for whatever reason. They're not much of an East Coast team or a West Coast team, but here we are playing the late slot. So I'll be watching the Bills and Titans game and moaning and groaning that I have to stay up for 2 more hours to watch the Eagles, but the Bills will win.
Yeah, I didn't think twice about that one. And then this one I'm a little torn on, but we got the Vikings versus the Eagles. Eagles home opener Monday night, 8:30. I gotta go. I mean, I gotta go with the Birds.
Without doubt.
Yeah, I do. I would not be surprised if the Vikings won, but I just want to see how they play. If they lose a close game, but they like played well and just missed a couple opportunities, that'll be okay. If they get blown out for some reason, I'll be concerned. But
I mean, listen, Jalen Hurts was able to win a shootout, 38-35 against the Lions. This is going to be a real shootout. I just, after seeing what our defense did against the Lions, I'm worried about how we're going to stop Jefferson and Cook.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that'll wrap up our week 2.
On to next week.
Yeah, that wraps up week 2. First 3 weeks are always going to be unpredictable. I'm pretty sure last year our pick rankings started out really slow, and then we ended up like picking up steam and like obviously improved our own records. But yeah, we'll have a guest on for everyone, and you and Nick both went 9-7. I went 7-9. Not the
love it.
Not the best, but I do have my buddy Mike is going to be. He did one last year. He'll be doing week 2, and I'll just run through his picks real quick. He's got the Chiefs, Patriots, Panthers, Browns, Colts, Ravens, Buccaneers, Lions, 49ers, Rams. But he also took the Raiders, all 3 on the Raiders. Broncos. He picked the Bengals and then quoted "fuck Dallas." He said Packers, if Lazard plays, that they'll win. He's got the Bills. Oh, and he picked the Vikings and said this one hurts, pun intended.
Oh, that's cute. Well, I hope he's
fan too. Damn.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see how it goes. Week 1 was fun. I hope week 2 is even better. So until next time.
Yep. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace out.